Hey, family. This is day 17 of our Reading Through the Bible Together in a Year series. Today, we're completely in the book of Exodus. We're covering Exodus chapters 2 through 5. Now, where we were in yesterday's reading is the beginning of the story of Israel in Egypt long after Joseph's death. And we see that the Pharaoh is no longer in favor of the Israelites, views them as a threat, and so he's trying to kill off the male children. First, he tries to use the Hebrew midwives. They fear God, and so they don't obey Pharaoh, and they're blessed because of it. And Israel continues to grow. But then Pharaoh starts chucking babies into the Nile River through his own servants, and so let's see where it goes today. Now a man of the house of Levi took as his wife a daughter of Levi, and she became with child and gave birth to a son. And when she saw that he was beautiful child, she kept him secretly for 3 months. And when she was no longer able to keep him secret, she made him a basket out of the stems of water plants, pasting sticky earth over it to keep the water out. And placing the baby in it, she put it among the plants by the edge of the Nile. And his sister took her place at a distance to see what would become of him. Now Pharaoh's daughter came down to the Nile to take a bath, while her women were walking by the riverside. And she saw the basket among the river plants, and sent her servant girl to get it. And opening it, she saw the child, and he was crying. And she had pity on him, and said, "This is one of the Hebrews' children." Then his sister said to the Pharaoh's daughter, "May I go and get you one of the Hebrew women to give him the breast?" And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Go." And the girl went and got the child's mother. And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Take the child away and give it milk for me, and I will give you payment." And the woman took the child and gave it milk at her breast. And when the child was older, she took him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. And she gave him the name of Moshe, because she said, "I took him out of the water." Now when Moshe had become a man, one day he went out to his people and saw how hard their work was, and he saw an Egyptian giving blows to a Hebrew, one of his people. And turning this way and that, and seeing no one, he put the Egyptian to death, covering his body with sand. And he went out the day after, and saw two of the Hebrews fighting, and he said to him who was in the wrong, "Why are you fighting your brother?" And he said, "Who made you a ruler and a judge over us? Are you going to put me to death as you did the Egyptian?" And Moshe was in fear, and said, "It is clear that the thing has come to light." Now when Pharaoh had news of this, he would have put Moshe to death. But Moshe went in flight from Pharaoh into the land of Midian, and he took his seat by a water spring. Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came to get water for their father's flock. And the keepers of the sheep came up and were driving them away, but Moshe got up and came to their help, watering their flock for them. And when they came to Reuel their father, he said, "How is it that you have come back so quickly today?" And they said, "An Egyptian came to our help against the keepers of sheep, and got water for us, and gave it to the flock." And he said to his daughters, "Where is he? Why have you let the man go? Make him come in and give him a meal." And Moses was happy to go on living with the man, and he gave his daughter Zipporah to Moshe. And she gave birth to a son, to whom he gave the name Gershom, for he said, "I have been living in a strange land." Now after a long time the king of Egypt came to his end, and the children of Israel were crying in their grief under the weight of their work, and their cry for help came to the ears of God. And at the sound of their weeping, the agreement which God had made with Abraham and Yitzhak and Yaakov came to his mind. And God's eyes were turned to the children of Israel, and he knew them. Now Moshe was looking after the flock of Yitro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he took the flock to the back of the wasteland and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. And the angel of the Lord was seen by him in a flame of fire coming out of a thorn tree, and he saw that the tree was on fire, but it was not burned up. And Moshe said, "I will go and see this strange thing, why the tree is not burned up." And when the Lord saw him turning to one side to see, God said his name out of the tree, crying, "Moshe, Moshe." And he said, "Here I am." And he said, "Do not come near, take off your shoes from your feet, for the place where you are is holy." And he said, "I am the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Yitzhak, and the God of Yaakov." And Moshe kept his face covered for fear of looking on God. And God said, "Truly I have seen the grief of my people in Egypt, and their cry because of their cruel masters has come to my ears, for I have knowledge of their sorrows. And I have come down to take them out of the hands of the Egyptians, guiding them out of the land into a good land and wide, into a land flowing with milk and honey, into the place of the Canaanite and the Hittite and the Amorite and the Perizzite and the Hivite and the Jebusite. For now, truly, the cry of the children of Israel has come to me, and I have seen the cruel behavior of the Egyptians to them. Come then, and I will send you to Pharaoh, so that you may take my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. And Moshe said to God, Who am I to go to Pharaoh and take the children of Israel out of Egypt? And he said, Truly I will be with you, and this will be the sign to you that I have sent you. When you have taken the children of Israel out of Egypt, you will give worship to God on this mountain. And Moshe said to God, When I come to the children of Israel and say to them, The God of your fathers has sent me to you, and they say to me, What is his name? What am I to say to them? And God said to him, I am what I am. And he said, Say to the children of Israel, I am has sent me to you. And God went on to say to Moshe, Say to the children of Israel, The Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, of Yitzhak, and of Yaakov, has sent me to you. This is my name forever, and this is my sign to all generations. Go and get together the chiefs of the children of Israel, and say to them, The Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham and Yitzhak and of Yaakov, has been seen by me, and has said, Truly I have taken up your cause, because of what is done to you in Egypt. And I have said, I will take you up out of the sorrows of Egypt into the land of the Canaanite, and the Hittite, and the Amorite, and the Perizzite, and the Hivite, and the Jebusite, into a land flowing with milk and honey. And they will give ear to your voice, and you, with the chiefs of Israel, will go to Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and say to him, The Lord, the God of the Hebrews, has come to us. Let us then go 3 days' journey into the wasteland to make an offering to the Lord our God. And I am certain that the king of Egypt will not let you go without being forced, but I will put out my hand and overcome Egypt with all the wonders which I will do among them, and after that he will let you go. And I will give this people grace in the eyes of the Egyptians, so that when you go out, you will go out with your hands full. For every woman will get from her neighbor and from the woman living in her house ornaments of silver and gold and clothing, and you will put them on your sons and your daughters. You will take the best of their goods from the Egyptians. And Moshe answering said, It is certain that they will not have faith in me or give ear to my voice, for they will say, You have not seen the Lord. And the Lord said to him, What is that in your hand? And he said, A rod. And he said, Put it down on the earth. And he put it down on the earth, and it became a snake. And Moshe went running from it. And the Lord said to Moshe, Put out your hand and take it by the tail. And he put out his hand and took a grip of it, and it became a rod in his hand. So that they may be certain that the Lord, the God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, of Yitzhak, and of Yaakov, has been seen by you. Then the Lord said to him again, Put your hand inside your clothing. And he put his hand inside his robe, and when he took it out, it was like the hand of a leper, as white as snow. And he said, Put your hand inside your robe again. And he put his hand into his robe again, and when he took it out, he saw that it had become like his other flesh. And if they do not have faith in you or give ear to the voice of the first sign, they will have faith in the second sign. And if they have no faith even in these 2 signs and will not give ear to your voice, then you are to take the water of the Nile and put it on the dry land, and the water you take out of the river will become blood on the dry land. And Moshe said to the Lord, O Lord, I am not a man of words. I have never been so, and I am not now, even after what you have said to your servant. For talking is hard for me, and I am slow of tongue. And the Lord said to him, Who has made man's mouth? Who takes away a man's voice or hearing, or makes him seeing or blind? Is it not I, the Lord? So go now, and I will be with your mouth, teaching you what to say. And he said, O Lord, send, if you will, by the hand of anyone whom it seems good to you to send. And the Lord was angry with Moshe, and said, Is there not Aaron your brother, the Levite? To my knowledge he is good at talking. And now he is coming out to you, and when he sees you, he will be glad in his heart. Let him give ear to your voice, and you will put my words in his mouth, and I will be with your mouth and with his, teaching you what you have to do. And he will do the talking for you to the people. He will be to you as a mouth, and you will be to him as God. And take in your hand this rod with which you will do the signs. And Moshe went back to Yitro, his father-in-law, and said to him, Let me go back now to my relations in Egypt, and see if they are still living. And Yitro said to Moshe, Go in peace. And the Lord said to Moshe in Midian, Go back to Egypt, for all the men are dead who were attempting to take your life. And Moshe took his wife and his sons, and put them on a donkey, and went back to the land of Egypt. And he took the rod of God in his hand. And the Lord said to Moshe, "When you go back to Egypt, see that you do before Pharaoh all the wonders which I have given you power to do. But I will make his heart hard, and he will not let the people go. And you are to say to Pharaoh, the Lord says, Israel is the first of my sons, and I say to you, let my son go, so that he may give me worship. And you did not let him go. So now I will put the first of your sons to death." Now on the journey, at the night's resting place, the Lord came in his way and would have put him to death. Then Zipporah took a sharp stone, and cutting off the skin of her son's private parts, and touching his feet with it, she said, "Truly you are a husband of blood to me." So he let him go. Then she said, "You are a husband of blood because of the circumcision." And the Lord said to Aaron, "Go into the wasteland, and you will see Moshe." So he went and came across Moshe at the mountain of God, and gave him a kiss. And Moshe gave Aaron an account of all the words the Lord which he had sent him to say, and of all the signs which he had given him orders to do. Then Moshe and Aaron went and got together all the chiefs of the children of Israel. And Aaron said to them all the words the Lord had said to Moshe, and did the signs before all the people. And the people had faith in them, and hearing that the Lord had taken up the cause of the children of Israel, and had seen their troubles, with bent heads they gave him worship. And after that Moshe and Aaron came to Pharaoh and said, "The Lord, the God of Israel, says, Let my people go, so that they may keep a feast to me in the wasteland." And Pharaoh said, "Who is the Lord? To whose voice am I to give ear and let Israel go? I have no knowledge of the Lord, and I will not let Israel go." And they said, "The God of the Hebrews has come to us. Let us then go 3 days' journey into the wasteland to make an offering to the Lord our God, so that he may not send death on us by disease or the sword." And the king of Egypt said to them, "Why do you, Moshe and Aaron, take the people away from their work? Get back to your work." And Pharaoh said, "Truly the people of the land are increasing in number, and you are keeping them back from their work." The same day Pharaoh gave orders to the overseers and those who were responsible for the work, saying, "Give these men no more dry stems for their brick making, as you have been doing. Let them go and get the material for themselves. But see that they make the same number of bricks as before, and no less, for they have no love for work. And so they are crying out and saying, 'Let us go and make an offering to our God.' Give the men harder work, and see that they do it. Let them not give attention to false words." And the overseers of the people and their responsible men went out and said to the people, "Pharaoh says, I will give you no more dry stems. Go yourselves and get dry stems wherever you are able, for your work is not to be any less." So the people were sent in all directions through the land of Egypt to get dry grass for stems. And the overseers went on driving them and saying, "Do your full day's work as before, when there were dry stems for you." And the responsible men of the children of Israel, whom Pharaoh's overseers had put over them, were given blows, and they said to them, "Why have you not done your regular work in making bricks as before?" Then the responsible men of the children of Israel came to Pharaoh, protesting and saying, "Why are you acting in this way to your servants? They give us no dry stems, and they say to us, 'Make bricks,' and they give your servant blows. But it is your people who are in the wrong." But he said, "You have no love for work. That is why you say, 'Let us go and make an offering to the Lord.' Go now, get back to your work. No dry stems will be given to you, but you are to make the full number of bricks." Then the responsible men of the children of Israel saw that they were purposing evil when they said, "The number of bricks which you have to make every day will be no less than before." And they came face to face with Moshe and Aaron, who were in their way when they came out from Pharaoh. And they said to them, "May the Lord take note of you and be your judge, for you have given Pharaoh and his servants a bad opinion of us, putting a sword in their hands for our destruction." And Moshe went back to the Lord and said, "Lord, why have you done evil to this people? Why have you sent me? For from the time when I came to Pharaoh to put your words before him, he has done evil to this people, and you have given them no help." So 2 things I'd like to draw your attention to in today's reading. First of all, Moses discovering the burning bush, which is funny to me because it's not burning, it's on fire and not burning. That's the point. But you can't argue with good alliteration. Anyways, when Moses discovers the burning bush and God calls to him, "Moses, Moses," and says, "Go get my people out of Egypt," Moses just responds no 5 times. Four of which he has a reason. The 5th one is just pure and simple, please send somebody else. But all 4 responses, whether it be, what if they don't believe me? What if my mouth doesn't work very well, as clearly mine didn't just now? Or 3, who am I? The only one that's not related to who Moses is his "Who are you, God?" But those three times that Moses says, "It shouldn't be me because who am I? My mouth doesn't work. What if they don't believe me?" And all three responses from God are, "It's not about you." I mean, he doesn't directly say that, but he just doesn't answer Moses' question of "Who am I? What if my mouth doesn't work?" It's all, "I am God. I will be with you. I am God. I made your mouth. I am God. I will give you signs and wonders." So that's an interesting thing to think about, is that when, on pastoral note, if you're thinking, "God, I can't live up to your calling. Who am I to live up to your calling?" God's response is not, "Well, I am God." His response is, "I am God." It's not, "You are this," or "You are this," or "You're this," or "Actually, you're wrong about yourself. You're this." No, that's not the response. The response is, "I am God in all things." That's a wonderful piece of encouragement, might I say. Now, the other thing I wanted to draw your attention to, if I can remember what it is, is when Moses and Aaron go before Pharaoh and they throw down the staff. The staff, or in this translation, rod, but they throw down the staff and it becomes a snake. And then the magicians, they throw down their staves and they become snakes too. Now, if we've seen the Prince of Egypt or other renderings of this story, like in Hollywood, you would normally see Moses' snake swallowing the other snakes, it's cool. I mean, that's like a sign of power for sure. But this text specifically says that Aaron's staff swallowed their staves. And I think that's an important detail that we need to remember, is that it's not just a show of power that a bigger snake can swallow the smaller snakes or whatever, but that the authority given to Moses and Aaron through God is more powerful than the authority given to Pharaoh and Pharaoh's magicians or whatever. It's really all about authority, and we're going to see authority just keeps coming back. That idea of the staff comes back over and over again in as a semblance of authority, right? When Moses lifts his staff over things, it's not because the staff is magic. It's a symbol of authority. So keep those things in mind today. I know I gave you a lot to think about, or maybe not. Have a wonderful day either way.